I have for years and years practiced a parasitic and cynical brand of predatory capitalism that leaves nothing to be admired. Ethics, not a priority. In fact, my behavior may have bordered on criminal. And to those I have wronged by this, I apologize. But apologies are cheap, aren't they? There must be a reckoning. Which is why today, here in this public forum, I call for the Attorney General of the state of California to launch an immediate investigation of my conduct as CEO of Hooli.
How's it going, everyone? So for those who are unaware, that was a clip from Silicon Valley, and now I wanted to introduce quite a light, funny clip to begin with, because this topic is a little bit more serious. We're going to dig deeper into technologies that maybe haven't been completely ethical in their decision making within the company. So one of the companies that we're going to be using as the main example of having an ethical based business is Boeing. So this week, the CEO, which was Dennis Muilenburg, has now been fired from the company. So for those unaware of Boeing, there has been 2 previous major crashes with the 737 MAX. And as a result, the CEO has been replaced. It has been a long time coming, but whenever a company is struggling, the CEO represents the direction of the company, and they are generally the first person to go. So I don't actually want to focus on too much of Boeing, but as an investor, I do want to look into a company that has been struggling recently, and especially when there's deaths involved. So looking at the actions that Boeing took, they did include a fund for the families that have been affected by the multiple crashes. And in addition, they did halt the production of the 737 MAX. Now, many would argue that the decision to halt the 737 MAX took way longer than it should have, and potentially could have prevented the second crash that took place. So now I want us to think about what it means as an investor to a company such as Boeing. So I'm going to switch over to my Trading 212 portfolio, and we can see that on my end from the list here, I'm not actually an investor of Boeing currently, and that's pretty much the heart of this video. It's to answer the question of whether we should be investing in companies that have been associated with deaths in the past. So with the likes of Boeing, it's understood that there were technical faults which led to the plane crashing. And so for me personally, I just want to talk about why I haven't invested in Boeing currently. So no matter how big or how small we invest in a given company, we still become a shareholder. Even if it was possible to do fractional shares, which Trading 212 doesn't support, but nonetheless you'd still be giving up your money, and everyone collectively allows the company to continue researching in new products and allows the company to continue being profitable if they are, or gives them a lifeline if they're struggling. So I'm just going to bring up Boeing on the graph and just have a look at how the stock has been performing. So we have the graph on the screen now, and we have a window here, so I'm actually going to just zoom out a little bit, and we can see that some of the levels, they're pretty low right now. And so as an investor, there's definitely buying opportunities to be had if we're just looking at a company from a graph perspective. So when you hear about companies that have led to deaths, for me personally, it's very hard to invest in such companies. And so on the one hand, I look at this graph and I think, oh, there's buying opportunities and profit can be made. But at the same time, investors still are responsible in keeping the company running. And that's not really a bad thing. People do want to see improvements made in the likes of, say, Boeing, and such investment can help improve the technology and to have safer planes. Now, that's the ideal situation, having sort of positive outlook. But at the same time, I can't help but feel there is some responsibility from shareholders when situations such as crashes take place. So I'm definitely interested in how other people feel when a given company that maybe they've invested in or they plan to invest in, how they react when there's any form of deaths involved. So in the future, I may change my mindset and I may have more of a positive outlook. as it stands right now, there's definitely buying opportunities to be had. But right now, I don't have any plans on investing in Boeing. I definitely hope that the company can really test their 737 MAX and any other types of airline fleets that they have. So for those listening to this video, I'm definitely interested in your thoughts and curious if you would find yourself invested in the likes of Boeing and other companies that have really struggled in the past. Okay, so with that out of the way, it's near the end of the year and I just want to give a summary of my account and the performance. So if I look at the history and I scroll back to the bottom, I started invested in this account back in late August, where I deposited my first £30. Since then, I've been investing £100 at a time, sometimes 200, and we're now at a state where the account value, we're at 1,544. So from that pot of money, we're currently invested in 1,300 worth of given stocks. We have some free funds that are in the pending order state. So if we look at what that is, I'm attempting to buy Welltower, that is an REIT. And so from all those numbers, we can take a look at our percentage gains. So on the status page here, we have a breakdown of the different percentages that we are invested in. So right now, Realty Income is at 36%. That's actually quite a high number. In the future, I plan to just allocate more funds into other stocks so that that ratio balances out a little bit more. But I've always wanted to have quite a large value for the likes of retail-based stocks. So it's actually difficult on the browser to show the actual percentage increase. So I've logged into the app on my phone and I have that shown on the left-hand side. Now we can see all the same stocks that we saw differently, just in a different view. If we go onto the breakdown, we have this return section. So we're currently at the 3.3%, and that equates to around £41 in return. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this series, we are dealing with such low figures. An account value just over the £1,000 is extremely low, and so we're actually doing pretty well, making a return of 3.3%. Had we have had this money living in the likes of a building society, and let's say for instance we have it at 5% and we can only invest £250 month by month, then realistically we'll be earning around the 2.5% mark. So we've already increased that profit level, and of course with any type of stocks and shares investment, the price goes up as well as down. But in the long run, we're going to see much larger returns than had we have placed our money in traditional building societies, for instance. So we definitely have a long way to go, but on top of that, we are going to continue to reap the rewards of the dividends that the account pays. So on the history tab here, we have a breakdown and we have the navigation on the top. And if we select the dividends, we can see the total amount. So currently, total number of dividends, we're under £1, and of course that is extremely low. Probably most of you thought that price would be a lot higher. But keep in mind, since this has happened, I've invested more in monthly based dividends, so Realty Income. So Realty Income will be paying a consistent dividend month by month. So the more dividends I buy from them, the higher this number will appear month by month. For the other stocks, and we can see the likes of Walgreens, HP, and all the other stocks in the portfolio, they pay every 3 months. So given I only opened this account from the end of August and didn't start buying dividends, and so for some of the stocks that I bought, I missed the dividend window. So we're going to see the number increase gradually over time, and in the long run, that increase will be more exponential. So now that I've hit over the £1,000 mark, in an ideal situation and in the new year, I plan to fund this account a little bit more aggressively than I have done in the past. And the way I'm going to be achieving this is by reducing the amount of holdings I have in other platforms into the Trading 212 account. So I'm definitely happy with Trading 212 as a platform. For those who wish to invest as well, they can use the link in the description where you will receive a free stock up to £100. And so I have received a stock over the £30 mark. So I want to thank everyone who has been watching my channel and following along. I'll be continuing to post more videos in the new year, so do expect more content from me going forwards. So with that said, I will see you next time.